Hey everyone, welcome to another Legacy Triathlon update for 2023. This time I'm going to talk a little bit more about my experiences from 2022 and the differences from the previous year and what they changed and what they're going to keep the same. So here we are, we're going to get right into it. So there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to do the race again in 2022 is that I really wanted to improve on my score in 2021, but I also felt like because we were coming out of a pandemic in 2021, the whole race and event was still Olympic style. It felt very professional, but I felt like it was kind of watered down. It might have been because maybe the bookings of different vendors or the whole setup of event was hindered a little bit from anything from supply or just getting the right people to do things or getting enough staff. So I gave 2022 a chance to see if they've improved that, and they did. The race expo was awesome. There was way more vendors, there was way more sponsors, and the whole racing setup and venue was really polished, and I really appreciate that, and they really stepped up their game for 2022.
Pretty excited,
a little nervous.
I've been training a long time for it. It's the first one coming, so finally it's here.
So we're going to talk about the course map for the swim, the bike, and the run. It's changed a little bit in 2022, and I expect it to be somewhat sort of the same. So for the swim course, I don't expect it to change at all. It's always going to be a simple 750-meter swim out from the shore, a big U around the buoys, and then back over. Especially at 7 a.m. when the race starts, there's going to be literally no waves for you to fight through, and it's going to be very nice and calm. The only thing you probably have to worry about is the temperature of the water. In 2021, I was very surprised of how warm the water was. It was about 68 degrees, but it completely changed the next year. So it really taught me that no two races are the same. When you go 1 year for a triathlon and you try it the second year in a row, it's not going to be the same. That goes for the course, and that goes for the environment that you're going to race in. The bike course did change in 2022 versus 2021. In the bike course, it was a lot easier and faster in 2021, where you did a simple 2-loop race. The first half of 2022's bike course was largely the same as you go in front of the aquarium, down the Shoreline Drive, but this time they take you all the way out to Queen Mary, which is actually pretty nice. And the thing that hasn't changed about the course from both years is that the quality of the streets. You're gonna have to look out for the quality of the streets. There's gonna be potholes, there's gonna be cracks. Just like any race course on the bike portion, you're going to have to be very careful of other riders and the actual street itself.
Of course, it's a lot more technical.
Yeah.
You have a couple climbs in and out of the Queen Mary, so hopefully they'll fix some of the potholes, and there's a couple bumps coming into the Queen Mary, so people that are new to the course, I highly recommend that if they could ride it today, they'll benefit from testing the course before the race.
We've been training together since January, so just swimming out here in Bayshore and doing a lot of brick workouts. We would do a swim and then run along the beach as well. We also practice the bike course.
So when it comes to the run course is exactly the same as the bike course from the previous year. So here's what I mean. The bike course in 2021 was now the run course of 2022. So the run course was pretty straightforward, like that big horseshoe, and then you go down the hill on Shoreline Drive and go back up and do it twice. And I can't say if it's harder or easier than the previous year in terms of running on the boardwalk. It's still got one big hill, and that's the big difference. But other than that, it's a pretty flat run course, and it should be easy. But by the time you hit that portion of the race, it's just gonna depend how your body holds up after the swim and the bike. In terms of the race expo, it's really cool to see that there were way more vendors. It was way more polished in terms of like how they were set up. Picking up your packet is very easy. You just walk through and just pick up everything, get your shirt, get your bib, get yourself lined up. The only thing different was that there was no bike check-in. I remember that was a distinct thing that they did from year to year. So in 2021, you got to check in your bike, get to leave your bike at the venue so that when you get there, you're ready to go. But this time around, they didn't have the bike check-in. You had to bring your bike the morning of the race, but you still get it checked. And that was a little different, but I don't know what was the reason why they did that. It could have been maybe they wanted to not have security patrol all night to watch after the bikes. I don't know. So this year I would expect that there is no bike check again. So be prepared to just bring your bike the morning of the race.
A well-organized event. Obviously it's part of the federation, and you see the safety of the event, the course, the swimming. They respect the times, and also they give you a bunch of goodies, and it's affordable too.
The swimming, I'm a swimmer, so the swimming portion, I'm just trying to get ahead. And I just turned 40, so I'm in the new age group this time, so I'm like, oh crap.
You'll still see me out on the water.
Okay.
I think I'm excited for the bike, mainly just because you get to sit down, and I think I'm going to be tired after swimming, so I don't know. I think the run might be hard after all three, or after, the first two, so.
So starting with the swim, the way I approached it differently this time around at the Legacy Triathlon was I wore my same tri-suit that I wore the year before, but this time around I was a little prepared, or thought I can gain an advantage by purchasing and wearing buoyancy shorts for the race. And again, I'm all about transition efficiency, and I didn't want to spend money on a one-time use for a full-blown wetsuit. There's birds, I don't know if you can hear it, but. So I didn't want to spend money on buying a full-blown wetsuit and worrying about taking it off before. And what happened to me on the swim, I was a lot slower, even though it was the same exact swim course. It's just that the temperature of the water really put a shock to my body. And I guess it was a mental thing that it was foggy that morning, to a point where you couldn't even see the turn buoys. You could sort of see the guide buoys, or the sight buoys, which is the yellow ones. And you're like, wow, we got there. I got there that morning, and it just could not see anything out in the water. And it was pretty scary in that regard, but it just comes to show that, again, no two races are going to be the same, even though it's the exact same course. But it got to a point where, with the shock of the temperature of the water and then freaking out because I couldn't see past the fog, I had to actually ask for the lifeguard's help. A couple of lifeguards came over, and I thought the moment you ask for lifeguard assistance, your race is done, right? It might be for a professional event, but this was still a sanctioned event, and I was I wasn't sure about the rules about that. But it got to a point where okay, once I held on to the surfboard of the lifeguard, they were gonna say hey, we'll call lifeguard over and jet you back to the shore and you're done, right? But no, they were just hey, just hang on for a little bit, take your breath, and then just keep going, you're almost there. And I had to do that 4 or 5 times, so I really burned through a lot of time on my swim. So my first swim in 2021, I was 19-minute swim. This time around, it was a 30-minute swim. So I was really bummed out about that, but it's just, I just wanted to finish the swim, and again, it's always that nice relieving feeling. And by the time I got to my bike, it was easy to take off the buoyancy shorts. All I had to do was untie it, slip it down, and put on my cycling shoes, getting ready for the bike. With the bike course, as I said before, the course did change from the previous year, and I expect it to be the same. Even though the website hasn't updated the course maps, I think it will be the same for this year, because it was a little bit more challenging. The ride was a lot more scenic, and I think it's just overall, it's going to give the racers their money's worth in terms of racing, especially if you're a strong cyclist. So with the bike course, it was riding off a shoreline drive and then crossing the bridge, and then able to ride in front of the Queen Mary. And I thought that was really cool, and we got to do that twice. So with a cycling course, you have to do a 2-loop course. And I know a lot of people are going to be in the heat of the racing, and they think if they finish it once, they can go right into the run. So be careful and be mindful of not doing that second loop. And the course map does have signs for you to follow, so make sure you read those maps. The bike course was more challenging, and I like that a little bit more because I feel like I have strong legs. I'm not a good cyclist, but I do good enough to catch up to people. But given that my swim time was actually really bad, I was behind a lot of people, so I found myself alone a lot of the bike course, which is fine. So the advice I would give on the bike course is to don't forget to read the signs on the course, make sure you know where you're going, and don't forget it's going to be a 2-loop course. You have to do 2 loops. By USA Triathlon rules, in terms of drafting, you have to maintain a 10-meter gap from the rider in front of you. If you're happening to be around a group of people, you have to maintain those 10 meters. If you're going to overtake people on the bike course, you have 20 seconds to ride past them and get within 10 meters in front of them and maintain that distance. So the run course was the exact same course as the bike course from the previous year. It was very familiar. There's going to be a long stretch of flat road that you get to run on, and there's going to be about 2 aid stations. I would advise you guys to take advantage of those aid stations, especially after biking 12 miles. With the run course, there's going to be a slight incline. It's not exactly 45 degrees, but it is a pretty long stretch or a moderate stretch of hill that you have to run up, and then there's a full flat course that you do a horseshoe turn, and then you run down the hill. Down the hill is going to give you a chance to gain some ground. Just ride the hill, and you're going to run and do another turnaround. It's going to be a 2-loop course. So again, don't forget to run the 2 loops, and you know, just take advantage of the flat road. You don't have to worry about potholes too much on that end. The run course isn't too hard, but I did like that this run course was different from the previous year, because the previous year we were on the boardwalk and it was a little different because it didn't feel as professional. But if you ever watch the Olympics, you rarely see any pedestrians on the course. So when they swapped the run course for the bike course of the previous year, it gives you all the space you want to run. Because on the boardwalk in Long Beach, you have a very narrow street or sidewalk to run on. So it felt a little claustrophobic, but this run course was an improvement from the previous year, and you're gonna have fun with it. I took big lessons from the previous year because last year I took a lot of breaks. I gassed out. I don't think I hydrated enough because I didn't get to hydrate on the bike because my bottle was locked. And this time around, I ran a little bit more consistently. I did gain a little bit more weight, so I was a little faster, but it wasn't as fast as I could have been. But I did pretty good, especially on that hill. I love running downhill. I have pretty strong legs that I can really just skip on the street and just ride it down. But that was a big win for me on the run course, where I didn't slow down at all, or I didn't stop and walk at all on the run. And I was happy with that, even though the time wasn't a big improvement. But you can't compare the 2 run courses because they were different. My advice to you on the run is just maintain your speed, don't gas out, take advantage of the aid stations, and just maintain your speed. Keep a steady run. Even when you feel like you're just jogging, just maintain that if you have to. The course is a 5K course, so everyone's pretty much done a 5K if they signed up for a triathlon, and it should be manageable. You're not gonna die on it, so you're gonna be just fine. So wrapping things up for the Legacy Triathlon, a lot of 2022's race I think is going to transfer over to this year's race. So when you sign up, or if you plan to sign up for a Legacy Triathlon 2023, expect the same thing. The course I think is going to be the same, so what you gather from this video, I hope is going to be enough information for you to know what to expect. But being that Long Beach is the proposed site for the Olympics, for triathlon, I think they do a very good job at Legacy to make it feel like a true Olympic event. Speaking to professionalism, I want to speak about the medal. So last year I really griped about the quality of the medal, but I really felt there was a there has to be a good reason for that. And I felt like because we were coming out of a pandemic, they probably couldn't secure either the sponsors or the partnership to get high quality medals. So this is 2021's medal, right? It is a bottle medal. It was a bottle opener, and you know, that's just what it is. And I was seriously about to throw this away because it was like, what did I do this race for, right? But you know, I kept it because, you know, it was my first Legacy Triathlon and it was a big accomplishment, especially on the swim that year. So I still kept it. But this is what 2022's medal looked like. And it's got a really nice band, a really nice medal, really nice and thick. And I really liked it. And it says like USAT Triathlon on the back. And the band says Toyota Legacy Triathlon. And it's got this midnight blue and gold palm trees band to it. And it looks really nice, very high quality. And I was really happy with it. So I kind of walked away from the race very happy and very satisfied. It made me feel like I really completed a serious event. And I really hope you guys enjoy the race. It's really awesome. To see the triathlon community, to see groups of people really cheering each other on, to see so many different types of skill levels and physical abilities to race this one race, I really do feel like it creates a legacy, one that people will continue to race, one that will be carried for generations for younger racers to race and everything. So it's a great job by USA Triathlon to sanction this and to host this, and you know, it's awesome. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully you'll be a bit better prepared for Legacy Triathlon. So enjoy it out there.